Howdy gamers, Bryan the Pirate here, and today we're going to be talking about the SPIRITBORN reveal for Diablo 4. Just as a quick disclaimer or whatever, if my hair starts floating off into the distance, it's because I have a fan on and it's pointing directly at me, because I live in the UK where this office is now 30 degrees centigrade, and I don't want to die. It's also why I may look a little bit shiny, please forgive. But anyway, the SPIRITBORN reveal, aka Green Monk, and I am memeing a little bit there, if I'm being honest. Like there was the thumbnail and things, but I think it's Blizzard just, they really like punching themselves in the dick, don't they? They have this habit of really overhyping and to a degree over marketing and therefore overselling things and maybe misselling things. And they're like, this is the most unique thing that we have ever done and you've never seen a class like it before. It's a monk. We've seen it before. Like, don't get me wrong, aesthetically it's very unique, sure. It looks very, very cool even. I'm all about the vibe. It's probably the best looking class in the game, if I'm entirely honest, and at least in terms of the attack animations and such. But the general vibe, I'm all about. Yeah, fair play. But the kit is basically monk. It's monk with the new drip. That's what it is. And then of course you got the lore stuff behind it, and they're like, oh well, you know, they're from the spirit realm and there's spirit guardians. And then people quite literally in the Q&A after the reveal were like, so where are the spirits that the druid have from? And then they kind of fumbled the answer and were like, oh, it's how they manifest. And it's like, yeah, but how come we've not heard about the spirit realm properly until now, when druids clearly have a connection to it too? I digress, but if you're a lore nerd, that was kind of a gaping plot hole, to be honest. But yeah, let's actually talk about what's going on. I'll play some footage around here somewhere, but it looks good. It's a highly mobile class. You can throw in some poison, some CC. You have some lightning skills, you have some fire skills. Almost every basic skill, or at least core skill to follow it up with, has some kind of like dash built into the skill by the sounds of things. There's a lot of like just straight up mobility. There's this ability that where you fly in the air, you become invulnerable whilst in the air, and you dive bomb with this lightning birdie of death. Looks really cool. There's an item that basically lets you spam it, kind of like Oculus with teleport, except it's not random. I've got a feeling that this is probably going to be the strongest class in the game for a little bit, or at least one of the most popular. Of course, when the expansion comes around, basically everyone will be playing it because there's not much more to discover with the previous classes. I think it looks cool. I can't words. I do think it looks cool. I'm all about it. I will be playing it. I look forward to playing it. There are some things that I'm kind of like about though. The skill tree, still shallow, still stupidly shallow. They kind of showed it off, and there's the little thing else that I'll talk about momentarily, but I don't know, I feel like one of the reasons that Diablo 4 kind of gets bullied for the most is because it's competing in a genre, the live service action genre specifically, with the likes of Path of Exile, with Last Epoch, even Torchlight Infinite, that all have approached slightly different audiences. Arguably, I would say Torchlight Infinite and Last Epoch dip significantly more into the casual audiences. In fact, especially Torchlight Infinite, because that's a mobile game technically. So that's like normie heaven. And they managed to have depth. Diablo's like, no, depth will confuse the normal person because they can't handle small complexities, and therefore we will make everything shallow as fuck and therefore boring, which doesn't really work with a live service because everyone finishes with aforementioned live service within a week, and then they piss off to play the other games that we're competing against that have infinitely more depth. And I just don't, it baffles me. Truly, it baffles me that it's still not caught up to them. Like, they still haven't caught on that people want more. And I have many feelings about some of the, like, to be clear, I like Diablo 4. I do. I'm a massive fan of the franchise. Diablo 3 was kind of a... I hold some disdain for it, and particularly when it came to the writing and things. But otherwise, the franchise and Diablo 4, I do enjoy. I just feel constantly disappointed and let down, and I'm always sat there going, how come it took you so long to work that out, kind of thing, when it comes to the devs and stuff. And I feel like the Spiritborn reveal is indicative of that. A lot of the reveal was talking about the lore and the artwork, which, to be clear, there are absolutely, myself included, people who eat that shit up. They will love that, and they'll be like, yeah, that's cool. Love that. I want to see more of that. But that's a very niche thing. Let's be clear. People who play action RPGs in general do not give a flying rodent's rectum about the lore, about how the concept artists brought this character to life. They want to see the things where you click on them and then they die. That's what they're about. They're here for the gameplay. So I feel like the Spiritborn reveal was like filler that a very small segment of the audience actually gave a damn about. And then unfortunately, an hour after the reveal, Path of Exile said, "Hi, we have a free game." And this is what it does. Of course, for the audience that has some crossover there, which is quite significant, they were then looking at the $40 ugly baby and then going, get the fuck out of my house, you know? And I feel like Blizzard are constantly fighting an uphill battle, and a lot of the obstacles they face are brought upon by themselves, where they make these aesthetically cool looking and very diverse environments and places to play around in. But then the mechanics, the systems that they've built their game upon are just so damn shallow. With regards to one of those systems, by the way, it looks like we're getting more skill points. It looks like the skill, well, rather the level cap, the character level cap has been increased with this expansion that's upcoming in October. We have two sources. It's not been confirmed, but we have two very reliable sources that basically heavily imply this. One is Blizzard themselves, or technically both are Blizzard themselves, but one is the video that they posted after the Spiritborn reveal. They did another video a couple of hours later where there's like more interviews and stuff, or questions being asked with devs, and they showed the skill tree, and it has 69 nice skill points instead, as opposed to the original 50 that you would have. So we know there's at least 69 of the skill points. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just going to be from renown and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't think they're equating how many 69 is bigger than 50. But also there was a second clip that's been going around where a lot of the content creators were invited to LA in California to actually get hands-on with the Spiritborn. And they had like a little Q&A, group Q&A thereafter. A private one, but they were allowed to film, and someone did film it, and a question was asked: why do the Paragon boards unlock at level 60?
If you can tell us, if at least like in which direction should we speculate, Paragon level 60. We saw during the playtest Paragon unlocks at level 60. Does this mean that we're gonna have in total more levels? So how it's gonna work?
I think you've traditionally seen in Diablo games that when we do an expansion, the level cap goes up. We haven't like expressly said that, or we're not talking about that today, but it's something that you maybe can expect. I think what we will say is that stay tuned for more of our coverage and announcements.
Obviously, for those of you who are familiar with the franchise, you're probably going, you what? That's only happened once. What are you talking about in one game? Were you mad? And again, that just shows like the naivety I feel like, from the Diablo team that they don't even know their own franchise that well. And they kind of just pump out bullshit to try and convince people that their game is great. But they've basically said there's a level increase. I don't know what that means. I really hope it also doesn't mean that we're getting a world tier 5, because I have a lot of feelings about the world tier system, which I'm going to make a video about probably at some point. It's TLDR. It's literally arbitrary and useless. Like the world tier difficulty system literally does the exact opposite of what a difficulty system is supposed to do. But again, that'll be another video. So there was that. So we know that there's a level cap increase. There's going to be more skills that we can use. I don't know if that means more skill points, but I don't know if that necessarily means that they're making the skill trees longer. They're certainly not being expanded outwards, for sure. We saw that every skill still has +2 passives that you can choose between, which is... But, excuse me. So yeah, that's it really. Really cool looking class. Very aesthetically like my vibe. I will absolutely be playing it. I still wish there was more depth to the game. The skills in particular look very, very stylized and very well animated. High mobility. You probably are gonna... Like, they were touting that you could make lots of builds, but anyone who actually plays Diablo 4 knows that lots of builds is a very different meaning to the Diablo 4 devs than it is to people who play other action RPGs. But yeah, it looks like it'll be fine. I won't be playing Season 5, namely because and I also don't really care for the new mechanic they've added, the horde/arena mode thing. Like, I'm glad it's there, but it's not winning me over. I don't think it's really won a lot of people over, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to checking out the expansion on Game Pass, because I'm not giving them $40 for an expansion. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna have a Path of Exile announcement video out probably either today as well or tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. I also stream on Twitch, by the way, twitch.tv/Bryan the Pirate. I'm going to be playing the next league for Path of Exile, so if you're interested, for the next couple of days, I'll probably be doing some theory crafting, so go check out my my Twitch channel. And of course, like, subscribe, buy yourself a pineapple or a cake or whatever. You do you. Until then, farewell. I'll remember you.